When people talk about the Italian Mafia, they often imagine one single unified criminal empire. But in reality, what we call the Mafia is not one organization, it's four. Four separate groups, each born in a different region of Italy, each with its own rules, structure, and history. They are Cosa Nostra in Sicily, the ndrangheta in Calabria, the Camorra in Naples, and the Sacra Corona Unita in Apulia. Together, they've shaped more than a century of crime, politics, violence, and global trafficking. This is the story of the four types of Italian Mafia, explained. 1. Cosa Nostra, the Sicilian Mafia. Cosa Nostra is the most famous of the Italian mafias, and for many years the most powerful. It emerged in Sicily during the mid-1800s, a time when the Italian state was weak and unable to protect landowners, merchants, and farmers. Private groups began providing protection, enforcing their own justice, and controlling the countryside. These groups evolved into a structured criminal society with its own code of silence, known worldwide as omertà. Cosa Nostra is organized into local units called families, each controlling a specific territory. The bosses of the most influential families met in a governing body known as the Commission, or the cupola, which helped coordinate decisions and avoid internal conflicts. Throughout the 20th century, Cosa Nostra became deeply involved in extortion, control of public contracts, political corruption, and later international drug trafficking, especially heroin. Its power reached a peak during the 1970s and 1980s, a period marked by violent internal wars and a brutal campaign against the Italian state. This violence culminated in the assassinations of anti-mafia judges Giovanni Falcone and Paolo Borsellino, events that shocked Italy and triggered a massive crackdown. After the maxi trials of the late 1980s and early 1990s, hundreds of members were jailed and the organization was heavily weakened. Today, Cosa Nostra still exists, but it is no longer the dominant force it once was. It tends to operate more quietly, focusing on business infiltration and extortion rather than spectacular violence. 2. Ndrangheta, the Calabrian Mafia. If Cosa Nostra was the old king, the ndrangheta is the new one. Originating in Calabria, the toe of the Italian boot, the ndrangheta is now widely considered the most powerful Italian criminal organization in the world. What makes it different is simple: blood. The ndrangheta is built almost entirely on family ties. Its basic units, called ndrine, are extended families that control towns, neighborhoods, and entire regions. Betrayal is incredibly rare because turning on the organization often means turning on your own relatives. This structure has made the ndrangheta extremely difficult for police to infiltrate. For decades, the ndrangheta was involved in kidnappings and local extortion. But from the late 20th century onward, it expanded internationally and became one of the main brokers of cocaine in Europe. Using family connections in Canada, Germany, South America, and Australia, the ndrangheta built a global network linking South American cartels with European markets. Today, it generates billions of dollars annually and has been the target of massive international investigations, including cross-border operations involving Europol and Interpol. Despite thousands of arrests, the ndrangheta remains the most financially powerful mafia in Italy and one of the richest criminal groups on earth. 3. Camorra, the Neapolitan Mafia. The Camorra, based in Naples and the surrounding region of Campania, is often considered the oldest of the four mafias. Its origins go back to the 18th and early 19th century, when street gangs, gambling groups, and local power brokers operated in the chaotic and crowded neighborhoods of Naples. The Camorra is fundamentally different from Cosa Nostra and the ndrangheta. It has no central authority, no single boss. Instead, it is a loose network of dozens of independent clans, sometimes cooperating, often fighting violently with each other. This horizontal structure makes the Camorra extremely flexible and incredibly resilient. If one clan is dismantled by police, others quickly take over its territory. Historically, the Camorra expanded its influence after World War II through black market profits, smuggling, and control of Naples' street economy. Today, its activities range from drug trafficking and extortion to counterfeiting, waste disposal, construction, and the infiltration of local businesses. In Naples, the Camorra's presence can still be felt in everyday life, from illegal parking attendants demanding protection money to drug dealing in specific neighborhoods. The Camorra may not have the global structure of the ndrangheta, but in its home territory, it remains one of the most deeply rooted and persistent criminal networks in Europe. 4. Sacra Corona Unita, the fourth mafia. The fourth major mafia recognized by Italian authorities is the Sacra Corona Unita, based in the region of Apulia, the heel of Italy. It is the youngest of the four, formed in the late 1970s and early 1980s. According to investigators, the group was formally organized by Giuseppe Pino Rogoli while he was in prison in 1983. It borrowed elements from both the ndrangheta and the Camorra and adapted them to Apulia's strategic location across the Adriatic Sea. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Sacra Corona Unita was heavily involved in cigarette smuggling, arms trafficking, human trafficking, and drug routes connecting Italy with the Balkans. For years, it controlled ports, coastlines, and criminal exchanges across the Adriatic. Large-scale crackdowns and internal fractures have weakened the organization, and today it no longer operates with the same centralized power it once had. However, mafia-type groups connected to its traditions are still active in Apulia, often working in smaller, loosely organized networks. So when we talk about the Italian Mafia, we're really talking about four distinct worlds. Cosa Nostra, the classic Sicilian Mafia, once dominant, now quieter, but still active. Ndrangheta, the Calabrian Mafia built on blood ties, today the most powerful and global. Camorra, the fragmented, street-based clans of Naples, violent, resilient, and deeply rooted. Sacra Corona Unita, the younger Mafia of Apulia, shaped by smuggling and cross-Adriatic links. Different histories, different structures, different ways of surviving. Understanding these four organizations helps us understand why the Mafia, in its many forms, has survived for more than a century, adapting, expanding, and shaping societies far beyond Italy's borders.